We were the only Indian family in our small southern town. I was teased every day.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about GOP presidential hopeful Nikki Haley saying that she was teased every day in her small South Carolina town for being brown, for being an Indian, the only Indian family in the town. She got teased relentlessly. Now, this is a very interesting video. I had to give my 2 cents on it because on social media, there's a firestorm. Some are saying, oh, she's playing the victim. Some are saying that she's lying. There's all kinds of things going on. Now, I actually believe her. Yes, I do. Yes, I have to defend Nikki Haley here. No, I'm not a fan of hers. No, I would never in a million years vote for her. But I think she is telling the truth. Now, before we get to the video, let's back up. There's a picture of her as a very young girl in her class. I'm not going to post it because I don't want to dox the kids in the picture. But some are floating around and saying, hey, her class was very diverse. She's lying about being teased for being brown. But see, the problem is people are not really understanding what's going on with the picture. In the picture, there are black kids and there are white kids and Nikki Haley. You understand? There's nobody else that's Indian. Either they black or they white. So Nikki Haley, when you're trying to find friends in your friend group, a lot of times what happened, and at least that's the way it was when I was younger, the black kids are going to go with the black kids. The white kids go with the white kids. If you're some kind of something else or other, you guys might kind of be together or you might kind of be by yourself. If you're biracial, that's a whole different story. You're too black for the white kids and too white for the black kids. So you kind of often find yourself trying to search for identity, i.e. Colin Kaepernick. Okay, this is why he wears the cornrows and blackity black, 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 because people didn't really see him as black or white. Although in America, if you got any kind of black in you, you black, but you're not accepted by the blacks. You understand? Basically what I'm saying is, in this country, race does matter. I mean, maybe some are saying that it shouldn't matter as much. Maybe some are saying that it's overblown, but it does. Now, let's go ahead and get into the clip. If you want to see the clip in full, link as always will be in the description. If you're on IG, visit a link in the bio. Go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
We were the only Indian family in our small southern town. I was teased every day for being brown. So anyone that wants to question it can go back and look at what I've said on how hard it was to grow up in the deep South as a brown girl. Anybody can look at my record and see when Walter Scott was shot down by a dirty cop.
Let's pause right here. So people are saying that she's lying, talking about, oh, you're not really brown, you look more white. I mean, look, if you are a white person, you know a white person from a non-white person, especially if you are in a community that's either white or black. They know if you're not one of them. The same thing among black folks. We know who a black person is, okay? If you got some dark-skinned Indian person, we know that's not a black person. They're just a dark-skinned Indian person and not black. We know the difference. We know dark skin, light skin, we see differences. So, I mean, what she's saying, I've seen that happen with my own 2 eyes as a kid and now as an adult. Now, whether that's call for her to be a victim or not, that's up to the opinion of whoever's listening. But what she's saying here, I don't actually doubt. Let's keep on going.
How I made sure that the Walter Scott family didn't suffer because we put the first body camera bill in the country in place. Anybody can look at the fact that when we had 9 amazing souls die in Mother Emanuel Church, I did something that no Republican or Democrat ever wanted to touch, which was call for the Confederate flag to come down because it would take 2/3 of the House and Senate and was an impossible feat.
I mean, the whole Confederate flag thing, people are so, they got a lot of emotion behind that, but really it's not really that big of a deal in my humble opinion. It's just like whatever. That's not, it's a flag, but let's keep on going.
I don't know what you're implying with that, but what I will tell you is saying that I had black friends is a source of pride. Saying that I had white friends is a source of pride. If you want to know what it was like growing up, I was disqualified from a beauty pageant because I wasn't white or black, because they didn't know where to put me. So look, I know the hardship.
Now, some are gonna you say that's a lie too, because you didn't have pageants split up by race, things of this nature. I mean, listen, we talking about small towns and not big city places, not big national events, things like that can happen for sure. Absolutely. Again, like when I was growing up, 90s, 80s, when you would go to school and let's say you had a school that was a certain percent black, a certain percent white, a certain percent Hispanic or whatever, the blacks tend to, sit with the blacks at the lunch table, whites sit with the whites, and then some others that didn't really fit, it just kind of would sit among themselves. Even among the others, there was some racial division, and it wasn't a thing that was mandatory. Kids just did it. And a lot of times that's just how it was. So segregation in the country was so deep and so ingrained into it. We kind of grew during that period apart from each other. And then when we came back, there was clashes because of cultural conflicts, things that I understand as a black person that a white person may not understand. Like if I say the term African booty scratcher, all the black people know what I'm talking about immediately. If you're white, you might not have heard that unless you grew up around black folks. You see what I'm saying? There's some cultural things here that people don't really get. And if you're not in her shoes, you may not really be able to understand it because you're not in her shoes. So for example, as far as the whole thing about the beauty pageant, if you were a black kid, you didn't experience that because, hey, you with the other black kids is cool. If you're a white kid, hey, everything is cool. I'm good. But if you're her, you're the only Indian girl and you're excluded, you feel it, but nobody else feels it. You see?
The pain that come with racism. It's the reason that I fight bullies every day when it comes to racism, anti-Semitism, or hate, and I always will. If I didn't mention slavery on that day, it's because that's an automatic.
So I guess the question, a little bit of context, I guess the question that they were asking her on NBC News was when she was asked about the Civil War, what caused it, and she didn't mention slavery. That's been kind of a sore spot for her throughout the rest of the campaign ever since that moment.
The Civil War's always been known about slavery.
All right, so that's that. That's Nikki Haley. I believe her. I really do believe her because I've seen it. I've seen that a lot growing up. And it's not even about, trying to be a victim. It's just the reality of what went on, even among the black community I could speak of, because that's where, look, people, they get the wrong idea about me. They say, you grew up around whites. I lived in 100% black areas pretty much my entire life. Like my schools I went to, you're talking about 80, 90% black. My neighborhood's 80, 90, 100% black. And I'm talking about black, like everybody looks like me. Everybody's pretty much dark skinned or darker than me. And if you saw a light skinned person, that was rare. It was like seeing a shooting star. And I'm being dead serious. Seeing a light skinned black person was rarer than seeing a white person in a 90% black neighborhood in the hoods I was living in. And that's real talk. So we talking about biracial kids, man, they had to fight every day. They get beat up every day, whether they be male or female. If they're male, it was automatic assumption that they soft, they can't fight. If they're females, they're real pretty, got pretty eyes. Dark-skinned girls hate them. Then the dark-skinned girls feel like they're being treated poorly. Then the dark-skinned guys feel like they're being treated poorly by the police and they're getting sent to punishment all the time when the light-skinned boys don't. That's all kind of stuff that you would see in the black community. But if you're not in it, you would have no idea what's going on because you just don't see it every day. You just don't see it. So, yeah, I believe her. And I believe that the racism and the teasing may have come from the blacks and the whites. You try to be over here with the whites, try to be their friend. You're not white. You're Indian. You're going to get all kind of Indian jokes. Okay, you smell like curry. You got they're going to cut your hair off and sell it in the beauty supply store. That's the black jokes you'll get. I believe it because I've actually seen it and I've heard stories from people. Now, whether it's you're a victim or whatever, that's something different. But the actual story that she told, yeah, this is America. Racism is here. Now, how much it affects you, is it going to stop you from getting money? Is it going to stop you from being able to go out here and make a living? I think not. But to act like it doesn't exist and it's not really a real thing and nobody says anything like that, that'd just be dishonest. And I'm not going to sit here and tell lies. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think Nikki Haley is lying about her experience as the only Indian person in her small town, South Carolina? It was her and her family. That was it. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. I think she's telling the truth for sure. And it's not about whites being racist, blacks being racist. This is just, especially we're talking about kids. Look, if you're 8, 9 years old and everybody around you look one way or the other way, and here comes this third option, what's going on here? Are you a space alien or what? If you're fat, if you light skin, dark skin, if you pretty, ugly, you're going to get bullied for all those things. This is just the reality. To act like what she's saying is false, I think is dishonest. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.